What's up, guys? All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Joannes or Joe Hatago. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living here in Accra, Ghana, and we're live today. So, as usual, we got to give a little bit of time for people to get on. This is a weekly event. I'm going to be going over a number of different things today. We got some updates for you all. I'm going to tell you about how I feel about living in Ghana after being here 8 months. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what the house that I'm working on in Sierra Leone, what that is going to look like eventually. So that's coming. And of course, we have the Ask Me Anything. So we'll leave it open to you all to ask me questions should you have any. And I'm going to allow people to get on as well and ask me questions. So I'm just now going live on Instagram right now as we speak. I need to flip the camera around so people can see me. So we're going live on Instagram. I'm going to add a comment real quick and then I need to pin that. So I'm going to do that. Oops, I'm live on the wrong channel. Oops. All right, guys. So let me know if you guys can hear me because I am on a different Wi-Fi than I normally am on. So let me know if you can hear me. If you can, give me a thumbs up. If you can't, then I will make sure that I change what I'm doing so that you guys can hear me. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll be looking out for you guys to let me know. Slow day today, huh? Everybody got a case of the Mondays. All right, so we're gonna give it a little bit more. Okay, so I got you, Miss P. Thank you for showing up. Cedric's here. Lawanda, here you hear me loud and clear. Lawanda seems new. That's a new person. All right, Marish, I see you. I see some new folks on. That's good. That's good. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna go live on Instagram real quick on the Authentic African Instagram page, and just alert those folks that they can come over here to check it out. So let me just first put up a comment and pin that comment so that everybody knows to come to the YouTube page to watch it live. All right, cool. So as I was saying a little earlier, if you guys want to ask me questions live, you absolutely can. I'm going to make it available for anybody who's in the live who wants to come on and talk to me directly. You can. If you prefer to just type in your questions, you can do that as well. You might notice I'm in a different location. I'm not really down for fighting the bugs today. So, okay, cool. So everybody can hear me. That's cool. So I'm gonna go through some updates real quick, and then I will then leave it open to the floor to ask questions. There's a bunch of people joining on IG. Thanks for joining. Guys, if you're on IG and if you want to ask me any questions directly, or if you want to see the presentation that I'm going to be presenting, there's a pinned comment at the top or a pinned post. So go ahead and click on that link in the pinned post to go to the YouTube live if you're on Instagram live. And all for all you YouTubers and people on Facebook, you can ask questions directly here as well. Even if you're on Facebook, you'll be able to get on live and talk to me as well. So it looks like there's a few folks both on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook. So without further ado, let's get right into the presentation. Really, it's just to remind you guys, all the things that I do each week, right? Like when my videos are coming out, when the live is, some updates on the house. There's been a lot of questions that I've been getting about the house, what it's supposed to look like, all that kind of stuff. So, guys, I'm going to present that here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold my camera to the computer so that you guys can see it too. How about I do that? So I'm gonna flip the screen and you guys are gonna be looking at that second screen. Let's try this live, see how this works. I'll present with one hand and I will let's see if this works. You guys, I'm multitasking here. So let's see how I do this. I'm holding my phone in one hand and I'm going to be presenting with the other. So bear with me, guys, as I go through this. It's going to be the first time I've ever tried doing this, but I want to make sure the guys that are on uh, Instagram Live can see what I'm presenting, so you guys know what the deal is. So, all right, cool. So I'm thinking you guys can see it. Excuse all the stuff on my desk. I got rubber bands. I got my pick. You guys get the behind the scenes look on Instagram. All right, cool. So so I post on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do the live today, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Greenwich time or GMT. That's what 5 p.m. Eastern, depending on the time of year, and 2 p.m. Pacific. It really depends on daylight saving time or not. In the US, they do that. In West Africa, we don't. So it can be either one of those times. All right, so here's the agenda. I'm going to go over the new upload date and times, a little bit about the website, some updates, and then ask me anything, of course. So let me just show you this. So the weekly schedule is as follows. Like I said, it's live today. On Wednesday, I do my weekly vlog, what's been going on with me that week here in Ghana or in Sierra Leone when I'm in Sierra Leone. That is going to be this Wednesday. I'm going to go over everything that's going on with the house and the details there. And then on Saturday, I'm posting my third video from Sierra Leone. And this is 10 things to know before visiting Sierra Leone. So I'm going to be posting that this Saturday. So if you're ever planning on visiting Sierra Leone, I know some of the subscribers are Sierra Leonean and do plan to visit. You definitely want to watch this. I did that with Mariama Forbes, who is also on the live as well. So shout out to you. And it's actually a really good 10 things I wish I knew. And then I have 10 more things that we did as well. So definitely going to be sharing that on Saturday. If you are planning to come here, this is going to be the kind of thing you need to know before you make that trip to Sierra Leone. Another quick update for you all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with everyone. Turn on your post notifications so you know every time a new video comes out. So a little bit about my website, as I mentioned to you before, I did see some orders come in last weekend. My virtual assistant was off for the weekend, so she is fulfilling those orders as we speak. So if you guys made an order over the weekend from my store, and I think 2 of you that were on live last week made an order, you'll be hearing from my virtual assistant either today or sometime tomorrow morning. Sorry for the delay. She was off and now she's back. So she will be letting you all know when those products will arrive. So here's some updates. So people have been asking me about the house. What is it going to look like? How many stories is it going to be? So this is the mock-up that I had done by my architect. His name is Nathaniel, very capable architect, really, really good at what he does. There's also a video walkthrough that I can show you guys at a later date. I'm still working on getting that video walkthrough, but this is what the house will look like in theory. So it's 3 stories. At the bottom floor is the residence of a very, very important person to me, my mother. I'm going to rent out the 2nd floor, and then the 3rd floor is the penthouse suite with access to the rooftop, which will be my unit, and from time to time I'll Airbnb it. So here's another view of it if you guys wanted to see what it looks like from another angle. So that's another view of what it looks like. So what you can see here is on the right, this thing down here at the right is what we call the boys' quarters, right? That's what where the caretaker will live. What I've decided to do with that is double as a outdoor space for the 2nd floor. So if you're living on the 2nd floor, when you come out of the staircase, you can actually walk out and you'll be on the rooftop of the caretaker's quarters, but it'll also be your own outdoor space. And so as you can see, it's above the fence, and you can't really tell from this picture what the terrain looks like, but in front of the house, it's just a wide open space, like just a view of Freetown. So that's going to be really cool because even if you're on the 2nd floor, you'll get access to an outdoor space and have the ability to see everything going on, out. You'll have unobstructed views, put it that way. You also have a balcony in the front here where you can also get those unobstructed views. And then the 3rd floor and the penthouse are made for entertaining, right? So the 3rd floor is my unit here. The outdoor space that has, there is a balcony here. There's also another outdoor space in the back of the property. And then, if you go upstairs to the rooftop, there'll be a bar up there. You can't really see it from this angle, but there's a bar up here on the rooftop where you'll be able to, enjoy a cool beverage. I also have a slanted rooftop on top, but with wide open air so that you still have the sunlight coming in, but you also get the air coming in. And even if it's during the rainy season, you won't get rained on, because it's a covered rooftop, but it's still an outdoor space. So you could chill out there during the summer, winter, whatever time of the year, and still get the outdoor, still get to enjoy the outdoors. So here's another angle of the house. And sorry, guys, I can't see any comments or questions right now, so I'll go back and answer those. But since I'm presenting my screen, unfortunately, I'm unable to see what you guys are saying. So if you're asking any questions or if you have any comments, I'm definitely going to get back to you on that. Okay. So actually, I can actually go back and see some of the comments. So yeah, I'm glad you guys like it. I've seen a lot of good feedback. So cool. Bertrand, what's up, man? Long time no speak. Are you in the US? You in South Africa? Where you living? Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So this is basically what the house is going to look like when it's all said and done. Got some work to do, but this is where we're going with it. So here's another view, another angle. So this is a little bit better view of the boys' quarters, what it'll look like, the top of it, right? So there's a little space up there for entertaining. And then there's lots of outdoor space on this rooftop. So there's this middle section here that's open is just kind of an open area, open air space. So there's plenty of open air space like on this rooftop for entertainment. And then of course, the top of it is going to have all solar panels across the top. So yeah, that is another angle of what it's supposed to look like. And then here's what's supposed to look like on the inside. All right, so now we'll get to some of the updates. Any questions on the house, actually, before I move into any of my updates? I saw some good feedback on it, but any questions about the house? Any thoughts? Let me know what you think. Miss P says she thought it looks nice. Thank you. Pro Woman, like the place. Thank you. Swanky Pad, I like it. Thanks for the compliments. I'm glad you guys liked it. Next level, I like that. Love the balconies and the rooftops for entertainment. Thank you. Yeah, I love that was the idea, right? Is to make it so that I can invite people over and they'll like what they see. And they'll be able to stay for extended periods of time. We'll have parties, all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. So how much did I pay for the plan? Great question. So there was a question on how much it cost for that plan. The plan was about $500 to $600 to do the plan. So not too bad. I think it was worth it, considering they're going to do a video walkthrough and they did all the work to basically put my ideas into something tangible. So yeah, that's about how much it cost. So Broderick just jumped on. Thanks for jumping on. That was, and by the way, that was David's question was how much did it cost for the plan? So about $500 to $600. YOA, I know you were on last week and I'm forgetting your name again. I'm so sorry. But I'm glad you like it. Yeah, so I am going to rent. So that's a good question too. So when it comes to the house, there's a couple of different things that I plan to do with it. Number one, the second floor is going to be rented out completely and in its entirety. So each floor is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms for each floor. And so the second floor will be rented out to ideally NGOs and folks of that ilk. And then the third floor, where I'll have a bedroom that if I'm in town, I won't have it used for Airbnb. But if I'm not in town, I'll Airbnb the third floor. And so it'll be like a luxury Airbnb rental, but 2.5 bathrooms will be available to the Airbnb guests. I will have my own bedroom, my own bathroom, and that will be locked at any point in time I'm not there. And so that will be my space when I come back and I'll be utilizing that space whenever I'm back in Sierra Leone. But the other 2 bedrooms and the other 2 bathrooms and the guest bathroom will be able to be utilized by folks that are renting for Airbnb. So so that's the plan with the 3rd floor. All good questions. So David says looking for something similar. Who do I recommend? David, are you asking about the plan itself, or are you asking about who I recommend to do the building? Because right now I'm still working on deciding on who I recommend to do the building. But that's a great question. I will, if you let me know, I can give you some insight there. And if anything, we can take it offline. If you want to send me an email, I can send you contact information. About 100K as costs running over or staying on budget. So right now, I'm pretty much on budget for the building of the house. I mean, right now I'm only working on the boys' quarters, which is the caretaker's quarters, that side property you saw, the little small spot, because that will be where I stay when I come to town, right? Until the house is built, I'm gonna have like my own little like studio apartment, which is the caretaker's quarters. So it's gonna be like a souped up caretaker's quarters, not like what the normal caretaker's quarters look like. It'll feel like a studio apartment, a nice one with AC, solar, and regular power, all of that kind of stuff. And so I want to make it so that it's somewhere that I can stay. So I no longer have to stay with other people or pay for somewhere to stay when I go to Sierra Leone. I'll be able to just stay in my own place. And so, so in terms of the cost, so far I'm right on budget. But in terms of the cost, it's so far from 2019 till now, how much has gone into it is a little over $30,000 has gone into it so far. It's right around that. So since the beginning of 2019 till now, that's how much has gone into it. Yeah, so that's it. Cedric, you like the place? Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Peter says it's going to cost you a lot of money for this building. Peter, you're not lying. I do know it's going to cost some money. The plan is to build it in parts. So the 1st floor needs to be done by the end of next year, maybe even halfway through next year. And then I will work to build on top of it, right? And go, it may be a floor per year. It may be some other combination, but it's definitely going to be a process. This is not, the plan isn't to get this all built in 1 year. It will be done over time, for sure. So David was asking for the plan itself. It's about $500, and the guy's name is Nathaniel. Once again, as I turn my AC down because it is hot in here, I will give you his contact information. Email me at contact@authenticafrican.com, and I could forward you his contact information. He's a good guy. He'll go to the site for you. He'll do all the mapping. He uses like GPS images and all that kind of stuff to make sure he has the right measurements, and he'll put together a plan that works for you based on what your interests are and what you tell him that you need. So he's really good at what he does. A lot of people are joining the live on Instagram. So just okay, cool. So beyond that, just wanted to let you guys know in terms of so on that topic, right? So with the house, where I am right now is we were in the middle of constructing the boys' quarters. As I mentioned, the foundation is about a quarter to a halfway done. There's still more work to put a roof over it, to start adding windows, and then we got the next phase where we're going to add electricity and all of that. I plan to be going back in September to kind of finish out the 2nd phase. We're still in the middle of the 1st phase right now. But one thing I want to say is the porta potty. I was using a porta potty on the property so that my caretaker could have somewhere to use the restroom, and it was $300 a month. We did finally complete the building of a temporary little toilet. I'll show you guys on the video on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, when I do my weekly vlog update, I'll include images and video of the new toilet that's replacing the porta potty, so that I don't have to pay $300 a month anymore. It's already paid for, right? So there's just kind of like a temporary toilet that's outside. I'll show you what it looks like, but that's the update there. The other big news is, I might have mentioned this to you guys weeks ago, but I did start as a mentor for Google for Startups, and my week is this week. So I'm actually going to be doing some mentor sessions for some of the startups They're based in Nigeria, starting this week. So I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes. I'm really excited about that. I actually had a session today that was canceled because the entrepreneur I was doing the call with was in transit and wasn't able to do the call. And so I will be postponing that. And then I have 2 other sessions this week. So I'll share that with you guys. And then now for the part that everyone is always looking forward to is the Ask Me Anything section of this call or this live. Sorry, it's been a long day. I just got off of a 2-hour call. Here's another update while we wait for more questions to come in. So I'm on the board of a nonprofit that's based in Sierra Leone and in DC. It's called Launchpad Africa. And what we are doing with this nonprofit is we are helping startups in Sierra Leone for now, and then we're expanding elsewhere to launch their businesses and grow their businesses, right? So whether you're a tech entrepreneur in Sierra Leone, or if you have a retail business, whatever business you might have, the idea is to assist in helping you grow your business and get it to a place where you can get a loan if you need one, get investments, strike up strategic partnerships, all those kinds of things. And so, and we're planning to start our first cohort, so our first group of startups, early next year. And so we are deep in sessions right now, going through all the details of what each of the sessions will look like, what we're training, what we're teaching. And so we spent 2 hours just now, right before this call, literally right up until about 15 minutes before I started this live, working on that. So yeah, I might be a little distracted because I've been in the middle of doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, 2+ hours working on that. So yeah, so let me get right into some of these questions. There were a bunch of questions here from the beginning. First of all, let me shout out a new member, Lawanda Stackhouse. You're new, you're going to Ghana in January, and YouTube recommended your channel. Thank you, YouTube, for recommending my channel. I love that. Well, yeah, so definitely follow my channel. So not only am I explaining what it's like to move here and show you all the different places that I've been and all the historical and cultural sites, I'm also explaining what it's like to live in Sierra Leone as well. So I do spend some time in Sierra Leone. I'm working on building a house there. So there's going to be some content there. So you come back to my channel from time to time, you might see some content from Sierra Leone. You might see some content from Ghana, but nonetheless, you'll be seeing content about living and visiting West Africa. And so, yeah, keep following along. Make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends. I do have a bunch of stuff like my favorite restaurants, going to Cape Coast and all that kind of stuff. All of that's on my channel. And I have plenty more that I'm going to start sharing too soon. So stay tuned because there's definitely much more to come. Okay. So we got Quasi asking, or is it Kwesi? I always used to say Quasi because that's how we used to say it growing up. We had a Quasi that we knew. But I think it's Kwesi, right? You let me know if I'm pronouncing it right. But do I regret coming to Ghana? So that was the title of this call, right? Or this live, right? Was do I still love being here? Do I regret coming here? And to be honest with you, you know, I am definitely happy to be here for sure. Like, I'd much rather be here in West Africa than where I was in the US, to be honest with you. Does it come with its challenges? Yes. You know, I think, you know, I want to make sure that I show a positive viewpoint of the continent because I think you get so much of the negative. But I also like to be realistic about some of the challenges and things that you might run into when you're here. But overall, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being here. Like I said, I mean, there's Black excellence everywhere. I'm never in fear of the police. You know, I'm not a minority here. All those things that I always mention, those things all still remain to be true. Accra as a city is a little slower than what I'm used to in terms of the speed of how things move. So I think that that's one thing that I'm considering, whether or not I'm going to stay in Accra full time, or do I maybe try moving to Lagos at some point, but I still have to visit first to make that determination. But those things are all up in the air. I mean, for right now, though, I love it here. I'm meeting great people, lots of great networking, but it kind of reminds me of Los Angeles a bit. And I was in LA for 4 years, and then eventually I knew I needed to move elsewhere to a city that's a little bit more like a busy city, a walking city, people around moving. I like to just kind of see that, like a city with its own personality. Not to say that Accra doesn't, because Accra has a lot of rich history and really great personality. It's just not the same as even like Freetown, right? Where it's like hustle and bustle like all day long. So I kind of like that, and that's what I'm looking for. But no, I do not regret moving to Ghana. It was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, and I think I made a lot of great decisions, and that's probably the best one. So that was okay. So another question. Oh no, that was the same question. Let's see. Any other questions? David asked, how much did I pay for the plan? I answered that already. Broderick was asking, let's see. Oh, just checking in. What you missed? You didn't miss much. I just showed you some pictures of the house. You might have missed that. I don't know if you saw that, but the house that I'm building, I showed some pictures of the floor plan. Okay, let's see who else has any questions. Let's see. Here's one. All right. Is it Fui? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Hey Joe, I am from South Africa, coming to Ghana soon. What should I expect as a South African woman? Please share everything. All right, so I do know a few South Africans actually, and so I would say, I mean, it's hard to say because I know South Africa. First of all, Johannesburg is different from Cape Town, and I know that everybody's experience is different, but some things that are going to be similar is there's a rich history and there is a tourism element to Ghana. So there are a lot of expats. One thing I do know about South Africa, though, is there are a lot more European Africans. I don't know if that's what you would call them, but people of European descent that are, 10 generations or five, no, maybe not 10 generations, but like 4 to 5 generations in Africa, right? So I think there's more of that in South Africa, but there are a lot of expats in Ghana. So that's probably one of the differences, I guess I would say, is there is a big community of people who come here to look for a new life, right? And they might be of African descent from somewhere else on the continent. They might not be. So that's something I would say you can expect, is that there are going to be a lot of people here from many other places in the world. And so you get a lot of diversity in that way. So that's probably what I would say. I mean, there's a lot of other interesting things too, like culturally, and a lot of historical sites, things like that. Like a lot of stuff that you can do here, where you can get more in touch with what it was like pre-colonial period, during that period, transatlantic slave trade, all of that. Like there's so much preserved and so much knowledge here that you can learn a ton about it. I'm not sure how much that gets explored in South Africa, because as far as I understand, there wasn't a lot of movement of Africans from South Africa to the West. I know that they were enslaved in South Africa, though. So there might just be a different perspective of that. And so depending on if that's something that's interesting to you, you can expect that here. People are very friendly. English is the language. So just like in South Africa, English is the language. So you can expect an easy transition in terms of language. Pretty good technology for the most part. Uber, Bolt. So you got different ways to get around. There are different food ordering services. So if those are things you're interested in and you like, but you'll have to ask me anything specific. I'll try my best. That was like off the top of my head. But if you have any specific questions about Ghana or specific things that you like South Africa and you're wondering if it's available here, I'll do my best to answer it if I've encountered it. So hopefully that answers somewhat of your question. Oh, yes. Thank you for shouting that out. Yes. So YOA is letting Lawanda know she's going to love the channel. All right, cool. So here's a good question. Do you cook or eat out, order in often? Toilets flushing regularly? More deets on the argument with the plumber? Are we cool now or what? Okay, so let's start with the cooking. So I don't cook. I can cook technically I have the capability. I just choose not to. So I have a housekeeper who is, it's about 700 CDs a month, or $100, $110 or so per month, and she does the laundry, cleans the apartment, cooks food. So she makes my juices for me 2 days a week. I have juices made, or basically more like smoothies made, and then I also have fruit bowls made for me for twice a week as well. And then she also cooks for me 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how much of an appetite I have, or if I have friends overeating on my food, then she might cook more often. But yeah, I actually inherited her from a friend of mine. I actually applied for a job with a friend of mine. Her name is Veronica. She was living here. And we ended up working together on a few projects. She left the country, her and her boyfriend left the country, and the housekeeper that they had at their house was looking for somewhere new to land, and it was just perfect timing. So I moved into the apartment right next door to them. I inherited their housekeeper. She's awesome, really, really great. So I would recommend her to anybody, but unfortunately, I think she's already at her capacity. She works with somebody in the morning, and then she comes to my house in the early afternoon or late morning. So unfortunately, I can't recommend her to anyone until I'm leaving, or if I decide I no longer need a housekeeper, which I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon. Toilets flushing regularly. Toilets been fine for me. No issues with the toilets. That hasn't been an issue. So yeah, toilets are fine. But the argument with the plumber. So back to that. So as you guys might know, I had some challenges with the toilet, not the toilet, the shower. So I got hot water heaters. I paid for them to be installed. The plumber who did it is someone that I think the building was trying to save costs, and so they used this guy for kind of all of their stuff. And he, whatever he did with the pipes, he didn't maybe screw them on tightly or put them on properly. But there are leaks in 2 of the 3 bathrooms, visible leaks in 2 of the 3 bathrooms from the hot water heater installation. So, and he got a little chippy with me because he felt as though he had to keep coming back here to make corrections to the things that he broke or did not do properly, and was upset because he felt like he should be getting paid at least transportation fee to come back and forth to do it. Now, if it was through any fault of my own, I absolutely would be giving him transportation fees, right? Because if I did something to break something, or if I dropped the water heater and he had to come back to fix it, then of course I'd pay the transportation. But I think his issue was um, he had some preconceived notions of me, because I think he assumed that because I'm not from here, I was trying to pull wool over his eyes, or he had some explanation that basically he felt like I was going behind his back because I was dealing directly with the building management instead of dealing directly with him. And what I'm understanding now is when you're dealing with a service worker, you want to inform the building management and make sure you have their sign off. But for the day to day activities of the work, you should be talking directly to the service worker and only them. The mistake that I made is because the service worker works on all things related to this building overall, I went through the management of the building and was communicating a lot with them and deciding on what's going to cost what and all that kind of stuff. And the guy who was the plumber felt as though I went behind his back. And I think the reason why he felt that way is I think that he felt that he could get more money out of the situation if I gave it all to him and said, "You do everything." So he would have been the one who hired the electrician. He would have been the one to hire the rest of his workers to come do the work. But because I went through the building management and they recommended an electrician, he only got paid for a portion of the work, which was just the work that he did. And so I think he expected to get more out of it, and he felt like I was trying to cut him out. Now, honestly, I ended up saving more money than having put it through him. But I think he was upset because he felt like I was trying to pull one over on him, but really I had no idea what I was doing. And had I known better, I would have done better. In any case, that is what's going on there. So we're fine now, I guess, but he still needs to come back and fix some things. There's some work that he still has to do. It's been 2 weeks and he still hasn't come back yet. Yeah, 2 weeks. He hasn't come back yet. So I've been trying to reach out to him. He's really hard to get in touch with. So what I'm likely going to do is just go through a professional plumber, have them redo everything, and just eliminate the other guy from the equation. I'm going to have to spend more money, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, I need to be comfortable with the work that is done, and I want to make sure that it's a safe place for me too. I don't want to have like mold and stuff from leaks and have to worry about it leaking on apartments below and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. Bertrand got one. So fun fact, I worked with Bertrand back in 2014 for a company that just got sold again, but that's based in Germany and in San Francisco. So Bertrand, what's your question? Let's see. Okay, let me just drink this water real quick. Okay, you've been keeping up with the channel, loving the insights. Thank you. Still in Germany right now. Okay, looking to move around a little bit more. Definitely South Africa. Also, okay, Vietnam. Okay. Dope. So Bertrand's from South Africa, if I remember correctly, but he was living in Germany when we worked together. So shout out to you. Thanks for watching the content. I really appreciate the support. Didn't know that anybody was, you must have saw the updates from LinkedIn. So really appreciate you following the channel. Yeah, I appreciate it. Especially people that I know following the channel. That's dope. Okay, in the news, I've seen a good amount of fintech related traction in West Africa, especially Flutterwave. Yep, Chipper Cash. What's your view on that? So, so for anybody who doesn't know what fintech means, that means like financial technology. So, technology around either peer-to-peer lending, right? So, like those in America might be familiar with companies like Cash App or what's the other one? I can't even remember because I don't even use it anymore. So Cash App and the other one that PayPal owns. What's the one that PayPal owns? Somebody tell me which one that is. PayPal owns this. So yeah, it's Cash App, and the other one is I can't even remember. It's gonna come back to me an hour from now. Like I said, I was on a 2-hour call before this, so forgive me for the name escaping me. But so to answer your question, Bertrand, yeah, there's a lot of traction in West Africa, which is part of the reason why I moved here. So I moved to Ghana in particular because I was just more familiar with this city, and it's a little bit more advanced and more opportunities that I have available here than to what I would have had being in Sierra Leone. And so, yes, Venmo is the name. Yes, Venmo is the name of the other one. Yes. So if you know Venmo or Cash App, that's what they're companies similar to that here. They have a lot more services, but and they're more specific to the West African context. But there are a lot of companies here in the financial technology space. Also, ed tech, so education technology too. There's agritech as well. But that was why I moved here, Bertrand. So I moved here to invest and advise startups on the continent. So I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see any of my like updates on my LinkedIn profile, but I'm a mentor for Google for Startups. I'm a mentor and advisor for MEST. And I'm a mentor for Founders Institute. And they all are accelerators working with startups in these spaces. And so I usually talk to them about building their social media presence and running ads online, and so or monetizing their content. And so that's kind of my the bridge to getting me from advertising to the venture capital space. And so I'm just using this time to start to build those partnerships and relationships so that when it comes time to make that transition into a new career, I'll have all of those relationships and bring them with me. But absolutely, the fastest, I think, growing area in technology right now in the world, I think, is in Africa on the continent. And there are different pockets, right? South Africa, East Africa, West Africa, even North Africa has different hubs where different things are happening. But the talent coming out of college, talent coming out of high school, the ingenuity on the continent. And the biggest thing about the businesses here on the continent, most of them are not only solving a consumer issue, like, making things easier for consumers, which is what Silicon Valley is all about. But in Africa, there is a lot more around helping the people in the neighborhoods and your customers beyond just making life easier for them, but also improving their day-to-day lives in ways that they may not have gotten from their government and other elements like aid that you get from like USAID and UK aid and all that kind of stuff. These businesses also have philanthropic elements to them, which I think is really interesting. And that's really why I wanted to become a part of the startup ecosystem here in Africa. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Bertrand. I see everybody just saying hello. Only one. Thanks for stopping by. Always on. I love that people are coming back every week. Appreciate you guys for always being on. All right, cool. So what do we got? So Pro Woman says good insights and reflections about the argument. Thanks for the honesty. I remember the balance between manager and service worker direct. Yeah. So that's a piece of advice that I would give is just know how to and ask questions. So one piece of advice that I would give about moving to the continent is you have to learn to ask second and third level questions. What I've learned is that information isn't always volunteered. Like for me, what I usually say to people is over communicate. I'll tell you if you're giving me too many details, right? Just assume I don't know anything and just tell me everything. Whatever you think, whatever your suggestions are, bring them to me. And then I just ask questions now. So for instance, right, when I go to my new plumber, right, I'm going to ask them, do you need to break up any tiles to go in to look at the pipes? If you do, are you planning to replace the tiles? Do you have a process for that? Do you have a tiler or can you do the tiles? When you are putting in the new pipes, when you're going into the pipes, are you putting in new pipes? If you are, where are you getting pipes from? How are you testing to make sure that there are no leaks? Right now, I know that there are additional questions, second and third level questions and things that I need to do that I didn't realize before. And so that's something that I would definitely recommend to anybody planning to move to the continent is think about those questions. And in those planning to visit, it's the same thing. Like your Airbnb may not have all the details on all the different rules. Like, for instance, so this is something to check out. So if you're coming to stay in an Airbnb, and I think that was Lawanda, right? If you're staying in an Airbnb when you come to Ghana, if they say that there is a max amount of data usage, right, in the unit, make sure you know what happens after you hit the max, right? Where I went wrong and where we went wrong is we hit the max and we did not know whether or not we could keep going because the data was just off. So we didn't have data for like 2 days, and then finally the owner got back to us and was just like, "Yeah, you ran out of data, so you got to pay for more." So it became a whole thing, and so we learned our lesson there. So I would definitely make a recommendation to start asking second and third level questions. If you don't, you will regret it. There was a question about Airbnbs in here. I wanted to answer. There was a question about Airbnbs in Sierra Leone, right? Who was the one who asked me about Airbnbs in Sierra Leone? Let me know, and I will put the question up. But while I look for it, so there are Airbnbs in Sierra Leone for sure. They can be priced pretty high, to be honest with you. In some cases, people have full houses available. There was one that I was looking at that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom place. It was a apartment, and they were charging $1,500 for the month. So that was one, and then there was another one, same price, but it wasn't Airbnb, but they were renting out their house, and they charged $1,000 deposit too. So you had to put down $2,500 to stay at the place for 1 month, and then they returned the $1,000 deposit to you afterwards. So, like, if you're looking for AC, electricity, 24 hours a day, security, modern, all that kind of stuff, you can expect to pay that kind of money in Sierra Leone, believe it or not, for an Airbnb. But there definitely are Airbnbs in Sierra Leone for sure, no question. Okay, cool. I think there's some conversations going on in the chat. Let's see what we got. South Africa infrastructure is incomparable, but Ghana is trying. Okay, the roads are hit or miss, still developing. Okay, very safe for a woman. You can go out at night. Okay, so that's good insight that only a woman can tell, right? So Those are the kinds of things as a guy, like, we don't really even think about, but it's so important. But yeah, it is a very safe for the most part. I will say, just wherever you stay somewhere that has security. Stay somewhere that has security, has a gate, has, all of the above if you're coming to visit and if you're moving. Because I have had a friend who has encountered some issues. I think it's because she didn't have security or anybody at the house. So that would be what I would recommend you do. You got some jokes. I like this though. Cause so OD99 says you're gonna fly over with your cousin Pookie to hook up the hot water. Appreciate that. I could use it. I could use it for sure. Um, all right, cool. So guys, any questions, any other questions for me? I went over a lot today. It's been a long day for me, but I'm happy to keep going. If you guys have any more questions, anything you want to know. If anybody wants to go live with me too, you can jump on and go live. I could bring you on if you want to go live and talk about your experience being in Ghana. If you've ever visited Ghana, you got any questions? Um, does anybody want to go live on Instagram? Um, dark skinned human on Instagram. Anybody? Can you see this comment? Yes, the comment can be seen. Um, love the name, dark skinned human. I love that. Yes, I can see the comments. Sorry. So there's questions on Instagram whether or not I can see the comments. So I'm looking. Just yes, I can see your comments. But if you have a question, do the question. Send the questions through the questions little tab thing, and then I will be able to see it a little easier because there's so many people jumping in and out of the live that I can't always see all the questions. Wow, Sylvia joined the live. So Sylvia was on the call with me 2 hours ago for 2 hours earlier today. So shout out to you for jumping on the live. Appreciate it. All right. There's a lot of people jumping on and off the live on Instagram, but no questions there. So I'll jump into the questions on YouTube. All right, cool. So David asks, what are your thoughts about burglar bars at the house? Are they safe and do they really prevent crime? That's a great question. Burglar bars. I have burglar bars. And I don't know if they prevent crime because I haven't had anybody try to break in. I'm sure they're a deterrent, right? A barking dog, bars on the house, those things are deterrents. And I don't know how sophisticated people who do breaking and entering are here. But I would imagine the deterrence, like having security, you already have a fence around the property. Having bars might help. It just messes up with the aesthetic, like, when I open my drapes, I don't know if you could see, you can kind of see it in the back here. You see that there are some bars right there, like the drapes are kind of open right there. You can see some bars. So it does kind of mess with how it looks. Like when I open up my windows, like I got bars on my windows. It reminds me of when I lived in the Bronx, where you would have those like bars on the windows. Um, and like being in the projects too, a lot of times they have bars on windows in the US. But yeah, I mean, it's a deterrent, I would guess. I haven't had anybody try to break into my place, so I couldn't tell you if it's actually stopped anybody from doing it. But I think you want to probably have as many deterrents as you possibly can. I think the most important thing though is just having someone on the lookout at all times, just to make sure that like those kinds of things are a deterrent. Having a dog, having a security person, even having bars on the window, like if somebody's trying to break into your house, they usually want it to be easy and quick, right? They want to get in, get out. That's it. So anytime you put barriers to that, it is helpful. That's anywhere in the world, but I would recommend you doing that here, and I would imagine that is the same here too. Hopefully that answers your question, David. All right. Do I like living in Ghana and now? So this is Miss Baby Loved asks, do I like living in Ghana? And if yes, I guess what do you enjoy like staying in Ghana? Okay, so I do like living in Ghana. I was saying this earlier. It's probably the best decision I've ever made. some challenges here and there, but like anywhere has its challenges. But I love it here. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine living anywhere else except maybe somewhere else on the continent. If Sierra Leone was as advanced as Ghana, with as many opportunities, I would definitely be living in Sierra Leone if I'm being honest. But as of right now, I'm in Ghana. But yes, I love it. So I love the food. There are vegan options. There are vegan restaurants, which I love. So I've been going to vegan restaurants. They're also like really nice, like restaurants that you would expect to see like in the West, right? Really nice. I don't know if they're like 5-star restaurants, but really nice restaurants. A little expensive, but like some really nice places. I went to a place called Kozo the other day. Really nice spot. A cool spot to just hang out is Honeysuckle, especially the one in Laboni. I like that place. I'm definitely gonna start doing more videos on the places I like to go out to because there's so many places to go. But yeah, I love it here. So for sure, I would say yes, I do love it. Only one asked, oh, you're in Ghana now. Oh, you've been here almost 2 weeks. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're loving it. Hopefully, any of my videos might have been helpful for you when you were deciding to come out here and places to go and things like that. Check out my favorite places to eat video. I did 2 of them. So that might be cool to see some places to go to if you weren't aware of them already. But let me know if you try any places out and what you think of them. Some more advice from the group. I love that the chats always have good advice and you guys are always like talking to each other. I really love that. Okay, so yes, Pro Woman just says to be careful when you carry your phone, your purse, your wallet. Yeah. So that's a good point. So like for me, right? I use these shoulder bags. I did a video about this. Two videos talking about these shoulder bags. So I don't carry my wallet in my back pocket. I carry my everything in here, and it's in front of me of all times. It's over my shoulder and it's in front of me, so I can see what's going on at all times, and people can't grab anything from me, especially in a crowded place. So yeah, and also if you're in an Uber or a Lyft and you have the windows down, don't like be sitting there with your hand like this with the phone close to the window because you might get somebody who sees it and just like whoop snatches it out and keeps it moving. So I would definitely be careful with that. So there's a question coming out of the Instagram chat. So let me answer this question. So dark skinned human, I really like that. Oh, dark skinned human is Pro Woman. You're everywhere, huh? Okay, so you said an African proverb to describe my journey personally so far. This African proverb I love, and I always use it, and we're even using it for our first cohort for Launchpad Africa. But if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Something along those lines. I might have butchered it, but I love that because I do think it's important to move with a team. There's no such thing as I alone can fix it. I know there's been some political figures of recent that can tell you that they think they alone can fix it, but it does require a village and multiple people to make things happen. So I do believe that best describes my journey so far because it's been my network that's helped me get my job and get all of the mentoring gigs and stuff that I've gotten has all come through people that I've known. So for sure, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. Something like that. Yeah, but that's an African proverb. So shout out to you for having me come up with an African proverb off the top of my head. But I guess if you know me, you know that's something that I can do. Okay, cool. So, what else do we have? Security concerns, not like Ghana. Okay, yeah. Still be careful. Okay, cool. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay, so here's a question from Daniel. Daniel Saki and The Art of Money Getting. Nice. It's an interesting book. Okay. All right, cool. So I guess that's a book, right? So what is the COVID situation out there in Ghana? Great question. These are the kinds of things that are tough to track 100% because One, there's a bunch of people who believe that countries inflate their numbers to get more aid. Then there are other people who have conspiracies that countries deflate their numbers so it doesn't look as bad as it is. I don't know what's true or what's not, but here's what I can say. What they've been saying is that the numbers have been increasing. There are different variants in the country, and I can see the spread of it. Now, recovery rates are still really high, but it definitely spreads because there are a lot of folks who just don't believe it exists. I mean, if I'm just being honest with you, but everywhere you go, they require you to either wash your hands or use hand sanitizer before you walk in for the most part. And at the very least, they take your temperature. Now, if you're asymptomatic, your temperature might not be high, so you can still be a carrier of the what is it, the virus, I should say. However, they do take precautions in most places. Like every day walking into my office, when I go into the office for work, they do check your temperature. When you go to different restaurants, they sometimes make you wash your hands before you go in, or you can choose to wash your hands. Certain buildings will give you hand sanitizer or make you wash your hands before you walk in. So it really does. There is some precautions being taken. There are some precautions being taken, but I mean, I would say that the numbers are less in terms of the percentage of the population and less overall than anywhere in the West. Mortality rates are much lower here. So yeah, I mean, it feels like we're like in a post-pandemic world is what it feels like here. Like when I first got to West Africa in December of last year, was my first time back during the pandemic. It just felt like it felt different from how it felt when I was in the US. I was living last year in the US. I lived in Vermont, New York, and in LA. Um, and in each of those places, we had to take super serious precautions. It was just so nerve wracking. Didn't go out to eat. Didn't do much of anything. But here, it just feels different. It's just a different vibe. Most of the restaurants are outdoors, so there's a lot of outdoor eating. Um, you know, it's just a different vibe. I don't know how to describe it, but it just doesn't feel like the pandemic really feels like it does. Like anywhere else in the world. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. So this was the original question, and it is back again. Thanks for adding it, David. How's the Airbnb market in Sierra Leone? Is it lucrative? I don't know if it's lucrative. I have not done Airbnb as a host as of yet, but looking at the prices, so I did market research, right? Which is why I wanted to do my third floor through Airbnb. If I'm looking at prices, and I do know, here's what I do know. I've been an Airbnb host in the US before, in Los Angeles, and I know how to market the property and get people to use it and all that kind of stuff. So if you know how to market, you're fine, right? What are the major landmarks nearby? What is a catchy headline that you think might work, right? All those kinds of things. You have to think through those kinds of things. But there isn't a ton of capacity at all the different hotels, or there might not be. Here's what I do know too. Some of the hotels that some diasporans might want to stay in might be a little out of their budget if they're there for 2 or 3 weeks, because it might be like $150, $200 a night, $220 a night, depending on if you're going to like Atlantic Lomley or Pearl Hotel. The Swiss Hotel I hear is nice. I haven't stayed there. I don't know how much it is. But some of these hotels can be a little pricey, right? And so like if you're staying for 14 days, right, it can get up there in cost, right? So what you want to do with your Airbnb is price yourself below that, but also offer the same kind of accommodations. And if you do that, you'll have people repeat renting from you, and then they'll also be recommending you to other people. That's just how it is anywhere. And so and depending on where your property is and all of those kinds of things, that can help determine whether or not it can be lucrative. But I expect to make some money. I don't expect to make a business out of having 1,000 rentals until I have a few up and running and see how that works, and maybe I will expand it. But I'm not going into it with the plan to have a huge business. It's just really supplementing my income while I'm not at the house. So I hope that answers your question. So dark skinned human / pro woman J. Because we don't associate basic humanity with the people who have dark skin. Yes, I did notice you on the on Instagram Live. Um, but yeah, thanks for the explanation because I was wondering why the name was Dark Skin Human. But yeah, so I'm just going through the Instagram Live, see if there's anything I missed. Now that I realize that, yes, yes. So the people jump on and off of Instagram Live like crazy. All right, cool. So one question from David again: is Lunge Airport region in Sierra Leone up and coming? I don't know if I would say it's up and coming because most people who travel to Sierra Leone make their way to Freetown mostly. Um, they don't tend to stay in Lunge unless you have to quarantine. When they were doing those forced quarantines and making people stay at hotels in Lunge. Um, so I would say, if anything, the areas where Seabird and Sea Coach or where the ferries drops off would probably be areas where, I mean, just based on your earlier questions about Airbnbs, I would say probably those areas might be where you want to have an Airbnb. And like if I'm thinking about where do people end up going, the easiest, and like if you're thinking about marketing, right? Right at the, I can't remember the different stops for the Sea Coach or the Seabird, but like right at the blah 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 stop for Sea Coach or Seabird, right? That would be the way that you would, part of like your headline for your listing. So yeah, I would definitely say that, I don't think that Lunge is up and coming, but to my Sierra Leoneans that are on, you tell me. Do you guys think that Lunge is an up and coming neighborhood? It doesn't seem like it is to me. I don't know too many people who stay in Lunge. They tend to come to the mainland or, like during the day for work and go back home at night. And when people come in to travel and visit, they tend not to stay there. So I would say probably not, if I was to guess. Um, how easy is it traveling to Sierra Leone from Ghana? Um, in a normal world, very easy. 3.5 hour flight, you're in, you're out. Direct flight, maybe a stop in Liberia on the way for 30 minutes, if that. Sometimes, but most of the time it's pretty straightforward. However, in this current time, you obviously have to pay for your test before you get on your flight to go to Sierra Leone. And you do have to get a test here. You pay for a test here and get your test. Then when you land in Sierra Leone, you get a test taken. So that's just an added like nuisance to the process, right? There's extra stuff you have to do before you travel. But otherwise, it's a pretty quick and easy flight. There's mostly direct flights, 3.5 hour flight. Um, yeah, and a couple airlines fly more than once a day. There's a couple flights a day. There are reasonable times. It's really early in the morning. There's late morning. There's early afternoon flights, especially on the weekends. So, and a couple airlines do it. There's Asky. There's Kenya Airways. There's also, Africa World Airlines. They all fly back and forth between the two. So, yeah, for sure. I would definitely say, it's pretty easy to travel back and forth. Okay. Oh, and shout out to you for, saying Salon too, because I remember from last week you said you were Ghanaian, but you had some Sierra Leonean friends. So I appreciate that. I remember you said you speak Creole small, small. So yeah, appreciate you, representing for Sierra Leone. Salon is like a shortened way of saying Sierra Leone for all you non-Sierra Leoneans out there. We say Salon sometimes instead of saying Sierra Leone. All right, so Ferdy says, rate the infrastructure development in Ghana from 1 to 10. Yikes. You want me to rate it from 1 to 10? That seems unfair, considering the history and all of that. But I would say infrastructure development, um, depends on what am I comparing it to, right? There are some cities that are amazing with infrastructure, and I'm not even talking in the US because the US can have some really bad infrastructure, potholes and all kinds of stuff, unpaved roads, things like that, in places you would expect it not to be. Um, but honestly, considering I've been to Sierra Leone before and I've been to other places in other parts of the world, I've been to India, been all over Europe and all over Latin America, been in a couple places in the Caribbean. If I'm looking at all the places I've been, I think I've been to like 30 countries or something like that, 25 to 30 countries. In all the places that I've been, I'd probably give Ghana for infrastructure probably a 6, if I'm being honest. A lot of dirt roads, a lot of unfinished roads. It just kind of, it is what it is, you know. But no, a 6 is no, a 7. I'll give it a 7 because it's a passing grade, right? Like it's fully functional. You can get around the way you need to. You can get there quickly. There are just certain areas that are pretty bad. But like for the most part, the main roads are all fine. Like you can get around to where you need to get to pretty well. There's a lot of traffic, so I don't know if that has something to do with the infrastructure. And then you have access to the cell phone networks work pretty well. They're okay, but they could be better, but they work good enough. Internet could use some work. I think that's all considered infrastructure, right? So I would say a 7, a 7. It's a passing grade for sure. It's definitely feasible and usable. But like there are certain areas of the world where, and even other areas of Africa where it's they're leaps and bounds ahead of where we are here. So, but I know they're working on it. But that would be how I would rate it. 7 out of 10. Okay. Pro Woman says hotels in Ghana are complaining about competition. Oh, competition from Airbnbs. Many hotels don't have websites or online presence to compete. That fun fact was revealed at a recent Ghana investment conference. Yes. So was that the one that Woody Maya was at that I didn't watch and I should have because I heard a lot of good information came out of that. Yes, that is true. A lot of hotels in West Africa, period. Like in Sierra Leone, it's the same thing. Some of the hotels don't have websites or the websites aren't easy to navigate. Or some of the hotels you have to use third-party sites to book a room at the hotel. You got to use booking.com or something like that. So for sure, that is a challenge. And Airbnb does end up becoming a competition. But that's not just in West Africa. That's everywhere in the world. Hotels are complaining everywhere because people now are thinking when they go somewhere, they're thinking, let's go to Airbnb. They're not always looking at Hotel Tonight or Booking or Travelocity or Kayak. Now Airbnb is one of the first places people are looking because they like the idea of living in a house if you're staying there for a week or whatever. So, it is happening. I'm a type of person that really likes room service. So I love hotels, but it depends on the cost, right? Like I need to make it make sense. So yeah, but hotels are complaining. Stephanie Royal says, how am I? I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you're well as well. There are dirt roads in Alaska too. I'm sure there are. Yes. There are dirt roads everywhere. I mean, so yeah, I'm definitely not comparing Ghana to just like the US, but just everywhere I've been in the world. That was where I came up with the 7 out of 10. But I've also seen some pretty bad dirt roads in India too. I mean, I've definitely seen it there. But then, you go to a place like Hamburg, Germany, and those people are very serious about everything. So, they're really big on engineering and stuff, and the roads are mostly nice, at least in Hamburg and stuff like that. So, it depends on where you are, how you would, where you've been would determine how you would classify the roads here. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I'll leave it at that. All right. So, okay. So Miss Baby Loves says, yikes. Okay, so of course I'm going to read your comment. She says it's a 4 out of 10. She's a harsher critic than I am. So, yeah. I mean, yes, Miss Baby Loved. That was an aggressive, really low rating. That's a 40%. But you're entitled to your opinion. You say 4 out of 10. I say 6, 7 out of 10. But there you go. You got two opinions. All right, resolve. Work with universities to develop an internship program for computer students, et cetera, to develop and manage those websites. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good way to go about doing it. I think also, there are, yeah, I guess that's probably the best thing to do, right? Is maybe get work with the universities, the people who are already taking computer information science or whatever, CIS classes, to maybe do that as part of the projects for work, that's probably a good idea. And then, of course, you still want to be available on the third-party sites because people do search those sites. And also, what might be good is offering your rooms in your hotel on Airbnb. That's something that these hotels can also do. I've seen some small boutique hotels do it. There's a couple here in Ghana that have been doing it. I've seen it in Brooklyn before, like these boutique hotels renting out some rooms on Airbnb. So you can also do that as well. I think that's a good idea. Using universities. It's free work. And you still get like hungry, really knowledgeable and tech savvy folks to do it. So yeah, good suggestion. All right, guys, we are at 1 hour and 11 minutes. Are there any more questions, comments, thoughts that you guys want to put out there before we close this thing out? I am exhausted. Just got to be honest with you guys. It's been a long day. My day started this morning at 6 a.m. and will not end before 12 midnight. Because after this, I have to edit a video. And I also have a PowerPoint presentation that I need to present tomorrow. So I need to finish that tonight as well. All right, looks like there aren't any more questions for now. I'll give it a second. Let me put up my contact information for anybody who has any questions and wants to reach out to me. Mo Roberts says, "What's up? What's up, Mo?" Oops. David, you're welcome. Glad I got to answer them. What's up, Mo? Yes, YOA. You're welcome. You're welcome. Always happy to help. So Mo's question is, how have I been? Oh man, I've been great, loving life. Oh, and Tiff, by the way, Tiff the tax lady, thanks for staying on Instagram. I'm glad this was helpful. I'm glad it inspired you. I appreciate it. So Mo, I've been good. Loving life, living in Ghana. Watch this live back so you can get my update on how I've been feeling, what it's like to live here, and all of that kind of stuff. But I've been really good. So thanks for stopping by and watching the live. I really appreciate it. So guys, if you have any questions for me and you don't get a chance to answer, or you don't get an answer before the live is over, you can contact me at contact@authenticafrican.com. Email me there. I know I have my Instagram here, at authentic_African, but that inbox is crazy full. So I have a hard time getting back to people on that. So I apologize if you've written me there and you've tried to contact me there. I have over 150 unread messages and it's growing every week on that page. So I would definitely recommend sending an email to contact@authenticafrican.com if you have any questions about anything we talked about today or anything else. Pro Woman, thanks for stopping by. I know you got to leave. Thanks for always showing up and asking questions and engaging. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys all for joining. If you have any questions, email me, or you can also just comment on the replay. So the live replay will be available to you guys. So if you have any questions or comments, you could always watch there. All right, guys. So with that, I think we're going to bring this thing to a close. We're all set. So thanks, guys, and I will see you guys all on the next video.